Ladies and gentlemen, it's another week. Welcome to the Xpansion podcast, where we download this week's content and bring it to you. I'm your host, as always, Danzel, aka Black Ice, joined by my amazing co-host, Manny, aka Goop Master Flex. What's up, bro?
You already know, stay gooping out here.
Stay gooping. And we also joined by my guy Chris, aka May 25th. What's going on, my boy?
And you know, same shit, different toilet.
We still May 25th in today?
No, y'all very much shit on that idea last week, because clearly I'm just not creative. So you know, not even gonna talk about that no more. Let's move on to the games, y'all.
All right. It's funny that you can't get like that kind of line going because you are the most creative person here. But anyways, but yeah, guys, what are we playing this week, boys? Chris, start it off. What's up?
It's been a pretty light week for me, man. I'm not even gonna hold you. I've been watching a lot of anime and a lot of other stuff. People watch Invincible. Damn it!
So gotta get into it.
God, it was so good. So good.
Second
I cannot wait for the second season. But the little bit of gaming I did play, I did have a big ass Crucible session the other day. I played Crucible for like 5-6 hours in a row. Yo, I was out here.
Nice.
But that's where I got that clip, the sniper clip that I had. That I sent.
Yeah.
Let me just tell y'all, it's probably the best snipe I ever caught in my life. And that other one I sent you from like a year ago was pretty good too. The one where like I was standing and the guy came through the tunnel, I hit him, and then the other boy came through and I hit him off too. But Goop. Man stood here, his homie came right behind him, and the snipe went through the first dude and hit the second dude off too at the same time.
What? You know, that never happened to me yet. So if I ever get that moment in my life, I'll feel just like you, man.
Yeah, it's not even skill, it was pure luck.
Pure luck.
Pure luck.
Bro, like seeing them Warzone clips where like people just like wipe, a whole squad of 4 like with one bullet of a sniper. I'm like, yo, how do you do that? Like,
yeah, that's just crazy luck to line up with that.
Yeah,
that's something.
I had no idea that dude was gonna like pop out like how he did, but man, I got hype.
Yeah, I would too. What?
For real.
That's all I got. That's
my boy
all
Chris is cracked at Destiny. I see. Okay.
Negative. Don't do that to me, because then I'll have a whole bad week. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't get it twisted. Man. Don't get it twisted. All right, so Manny, what about you, bro? What you been playing?
I would say it's maybe not light. You know what I'm saying? It was in between. So like started off. Since Chris mentioned Invisible, I will say I watched the Demon Slayer movie a second time because you know what I'm saying, that movie was good, even though it had some flaws, but like, I mean, whatever, every movie has its flaws. But gaming wise, a lot of battle royales, playing Warzone, Apex. I actually streamed those 2 yesterday and caught a dub in Apex, but not in Warzone, because Warzone was just full of people who was cracked. And then what is it called? I also played Tarkov. I played Tarkov on Friday, and let me tell you, bro, being a noob in Tarkov is painful. Out here playing maps, there was this one map that was pitch black, and I was just like, crawling through the grass, and then like some dude scared me, and I was able to get a kill, but then it's like I start running away looking for the extraction points so I can extract my loot, and the next thing you know, I just hear one snipe shot and I'm done. Like, and it's like pitch black, you don't see anything. Like, I wish I had more people to play with the Tarkov.
Yeah, that game is raw. I might see if I can get that downloaded. But speaking of PC games, though, have you checked out Scavengers?
I haven't checked out Scavengers. First time
hearing about it. Just dropped this week. It's another like battle royale. It's like a PvEVP type of battle royale. So you're fighting the environment as well as other players. I got a code for it through Steam, and I activated it, I want to say Thursday, but I haven't had a chance to try it yet. But apparently they opened it up to everybody at this point. So I want to check that out for sure.
Definitely. Maybe try to stream that myself.
Yeah, man.
I'll take a look. See if I can find a trailer.
Anything else you've been playing, though, Manny?
Oh, Phantasy Star Online too, actually. Played
Whoa.
Chris is like,
whoa.
bro.
I didn't expect you to say that.
It was weird because
Okay.
me, Isaiah, and Richard were just like, figure out a game to play together. And then Isaiah said, just download Fantasy Star Online too. And I was just like, all right, whatever, I'll download it. So here I am playing that as well. Even though everything's like covered behind like a paywall where it's like, oh, you want to trade items with your friend? Oh, you got to pay for the premium. And I'm like, yeah, I hate it's the reason why I don't like MMOs that are free to play, because like,
That's how
a
they
lot
gonna
of stuff
get
like
you.
that.
They gotta get their money somehow.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
But
You've been playing the game of the week though, no?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I forgot about it. Returnal, yeah, definitely. I played a little bit of Returnal that just came out on Friday. I actually played it after my Apex went on Saturday night, like basically like a couple hours ago. But yeah, I played like a couple hours of it. The game's pretty dope, honestly. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about it more in the podcast.
We'll save it for a little bit later for sure. Okay. Well, thank you for that. So for me, I've been playing a really random amount of everything. This is like my last it's my last week before I have to go back to work. Been off for a month. So I've been playing the show this week. I've been playing a lot of Madden this week because of the NFL draft, which is kind of random because I haven't touched that in a while. I've been trying to get into Outriders. I still need to beat it. Like I'm kind of stuck at this one point now on the snow planet. So yeah, I'm just keep getting smacked, and I don't really feel like stressing myself out that much. So I'm putting it down for a little bit. Chris, I might need your help on that a little bit later.
I got you.
And yeah, Ghost of Tsushima, and also still playing It Takes Two with my wife. So just working my way through some of those things, but hopefully I'll be able to play some Returnal soon. But we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Definitely. So that was what we were playing, but let's move on to the icebreaker for the week. Chris, warm it up, bro.
So for this week, the icebreaker. Question is, what's an aspect of gaming now that like we're all a little older, above drinking age and all that good stuff? I want to say, I think so, Manny. I think. So with that being said, what are some of the things that you think you're growing out of, and what are some of the things that you think you're starting to embrace more as an older gamer? Because one of the things that I noticed more so now than I did when I was younger is there's a distinct line, in my opinion, in between gaming for children and then gaming for adults. I just think there's a difference. You know what I'm saying? I kind of think that also kind of lends to why I have such a big issue with a lot of what Nintendo does. But that's another discussion. Don't want to beat that horse. We've already done that enough. But yeah, so I guess I'll just start off with this one to give you guys an example of what the question is like really asking for. So for me, aspects of gaming that I don't really mess with anymore. I used to be a heavy turn-based RPG guy. Excuse me. And I still am in some ways. Even with Dragon Quest on Game Pass, I play that every once in a blue moon, and I have a good time with it, but I still can't play it like how I used to when I was a kid. When I was a kid, those turn-based RPGs were everything for me, bro. Everything. From Dragon Quest, from Zelda, from Final Fantasy, from Pokemon. Anything that had any kind of setup like that, I love. Ni no Kuni, Tales of Symphonia, and I didn't even like that, but I played it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of them. List goes on, but anyways, what I'm trying to say is that style of gaming I don't see myself doing so much anymore in 2021. It's just not really not saying it's not my thing, but they gotta like really upgrade how that works. It's kind of like with platform gaming and fighting gaming for me. Like, I don't play them as much anymore, but it's more so because they just haven't done enough to upgrade how some of that stuff works. So for example, I also feel like, stuff like COD, when, it has the battle royale aspect to it now. So to me, it kind of did do something to modernize itself in terms of like what we're doing in gaming today. And a lot of other games are taking that same route, but then stuff like what I'm talking about kind of just didn't. Even Pokemon in some ways, and I love Pokemon, but I can be honest and say there's aspects of that I'm growing out of too, just because I don't know. But then the ones that I embrace, as many of you guys know, if you guys are paying attention to the pod, if you guys have been watching for the last few, I never used to like FPS shooters. I used to hate them with a passion. Never played COD really until like the last few years. Didn't play Destiny, didn't play any of that stuff. I like those games a lot now. I embrace the hell out of them now. And like even first person games in general never really was my thing, even if it was an open world RPG. But now it's fine. Like I remember back in the day I used to play Fallout and deliberately play Fallout in third person. Now I could play it in first person, third person, no problem. So I don't know, little tiny things like that I definitely embrace more. I pay more attention to story writing for sure now more than ever. Um, absolutely do. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, back in the day, it was a lot of Ratchet Clank and all that other kind of stuff. And I used to appreciate Ratchet Clank for being a very funny game. And the way how they wrote it was very humorous. But like nowadays, it's like, you know, I couldn't just accept what they did back then now and then say, oh, this is great. Like it has to be more. So the people who take a lot of time to really, really, truly give us a game that's written almost on the same caliber as a movie or something like that, is you know, I gravitate to that stuff more often now. So yeah, this it's never. I don't think this question is based around big answers more so than like little tiny things that like you just like now more than you did when you were younger and vice versa. You know, so go ahead and I don't know which one of y'all want to try to take a stab at it, but
Go ahead, Manny.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree because, like, you know, like you said, growing up is just like a whole different ball game compared to gaming now. Not just because of age, but like the way how gaming evolved. So, like back then, of course, turn-based RPG was like the big thing back then. But then now it's like you go in the future where everything's like all hand-to-hand combat. Whereas, you know, maybe I don't want to be sitting down, you know, just picking the right spells or the right moves to use. So I can see what you mean. For me, like I know it's kind of like a different response, but like you know back then before like online multiplayer was a big thing, I always used to love playing these story games and like because you know that's all we had back then. It's like and like yeah, couch multiplayer, but it's still not the same because you know you had to rely on your boys coming over to play that. So like you know nowadays I see myself playing more multiplayer based games, like for example Warzone, Apex, like a lot of battle royales or even competitive shooter arena shooters like Halo and stuff like that because you know like it's just more like I guess you could say like entertaining or whatever, like to play with your friends than just to play by yourself. Even though like you know playing games with good story has its perks, of course. Like you know the recent God of War, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, games with good stories, of course. And it's just hard like for me to personally like pick up those games and like try to get started again. Like you know I still haven't beat the medium, and we know the medium you know itself is like we talked about it a lot, but like you know I'd rather play Warzone with the boys or you know what I mean, stuff like that. So like that I would say that for me myself is like what aspect of gaming changed for me. I'm more of like a multiplayer based person than like you know single player like I used to.
yeah.
Um, we're all going to pretty much be one voice here because I'm pretty much going to say the same stuff you guys are saying. With the exception of, I guess, some of the things Chris was saying around first-person shooters. I've always been a big first-person shooter player, but definitely when I was younger, I played more, turn-based RPGs like Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, so on and so forth. Definitely largely grown out of that. I don't even know if grown out of it is the word I would want to use necessarily because I just feel like they haven't evolved, so they're just boring to me now. But yeah, I mean, the advent of like online gaming has just become so much more social for me that, to Manny's point, like, I love playing really great single player experiences, but multiplayer games just tend to win out, right? Like I'm like playing with my friends ends up taking more priority than like playing a great story, which is kind of weird, but I don't know. It's just one of those things. Like it just is what it is. Like you said, Manny, I still haven't finished the medium. I really loved playing when I played so far. I just haven't gotten a chance to get back into it, and that's really it. Like, Ghost of Tsushima. Like I said, I'm playing through that, but like it's taking me a little while because I always want to go back and turn back on the Xbox and play with you guys. So it's tricky, and I think that's part of why Outriders is kind of the other end of the spectrum. I don't think Outriders is a particularly great game, right? Like we've talked about this pretty much at length, but I keep going back to it because I can play with my friends. Like playing the co-op aspect of it makes me want to go through it faster than going through like a game like Ghost of Tsushima that is leaps and bounds better. So yeah, it's interesting to see how that social aspect of gaming has changed things. Another thing for me in particular and this is one thing I don't think either one of you have touched on, is for me, when I was younger, I used to be a lot more willing to go and play open world games and really explore
Mhm.
all of the world. Like
Mm.
playing Grand Theft Auto, like I could just spend hours just lost in doing stupid shit in Grand Theft Auto. Now that doesn't really appeal to me anymore. Like I love playing the story of these open world games, and then that's kind of it for me. Like Ghost of Tsushima, well, although it's obviously a different world than Grand Theft Auto, but Ghost of Tsushima, I'm like very much like, let me go do this next mission, like go to this next place. I'm not interested in finding this temple with this magical thing that isn't really a part of the main storyline. Like I'm very focused on, let me go do the main story. Not particularly interested in too many side quests right now, or like going and exploring. Like, and I think maybe some of that might have more to do with time. You know, my time is obviously significantly different nowadays, but like I'm very focused on like, let me go do the next thing, like try to get through the story as fast as I can, and then when I'm not, when I fall off of that wagon, it's like I just want to go play something, multiplayer, whether it's Warzone or Rocket League or whatever the hell it is. So yeah.
Definitely agree.
I feel that. I
Getting old
feel
sucks,
that.
guys.
No, I don't think it does. I think we appreciate gaming way more now than we used to, especially now that we spend our own money on it and shit like that. I think it's
Yeah,
a lot
Sure.
different.
that's definitely a big part of it. I mean, I guess also some of it has to do with the, like, I think Game Pass changes a lot of this too.
Definitely, yeah.
There's just
Can
so
y'all
much more
stop
to
talking
play.
about Game Pass?
Yeah, we're never gonna stop talking about Game
Yeah,
Pass.
man.
Game
Game
Pass
Pass is
is
clutch. Even
yeah, it's a
though,
juggernaut.
yeah, because it sucks. Like, for example, like I
Uh,
remember we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Was like, I spent $70 on Hitman and play that game like, say for like 1 week, didn't even get to beat it, and I was just collecting dust in my digital library. So like,
Same.
it's just like it, like you just want to just
Damn,
use your time
forgot
wisely.
about
You know
it.
what I'm saying?
Damn, I need to go back and play that.
Same,
That's
man.
actually, sorry, this is like a tangent and something I'm thinking about completely independent of like the podcast, but like that's a game that would be really interesting to play. Like it's basically like a big escape room in a way. Like the whole thing is a big puzzle. I feel like that's interesting to play in a group or like play with somebody else like near you. That social
I
aspect
was
of
gonna say
gaming.
if it's
Mhm.
co-op.
No, it's not
Okay.
co-op, but like to play it with people in the room with you or whatnot. Like I feel like that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry. Super random thought, but yeah, gaming's definitely evolved, and it's I'm curious, and this is definitely a topic for another time. I'm sure we could spend hours talking about this, but like I'm curious how much of our gaming habits and taste has changed as a result of us growing up versus the shift in the industry too. Like
Hmm.
the way games are designed now, and all that different type of stuff. It's really interesting.
Definitely.
But well, Chris, thank you again for that icebreaker. Let's dive into the topics for this week. So we got a couple different things to talk about, but we're gonna start off with the game of the week that Manny was alluding to earlier. That's
Hey.
Returnal.
Hmm.
Game came out, definitely getting some really really good reviews. People were comparing it to what's that game?
Risk of Rain.
Hades.
I thought you said, oh, never mind.
Well,
Really?
yes, some people compared it to. I forgot what there was like a specific thing that
That's
somebody had called it.
interesting.
It's like Hades meets another game, and I can't remember what it is.
Didn't
It's
see
like
Hades
Halo
being
meets
a
Hades or something like that. But
huh.
yeah, to me, it looks like Risk of Rain, like a lot like Risk of Rain, just with a super super high budget with really great graphics and all that
Mhm.
jazz. Um, you know, I haven't got a chance to play it, and Chris, I know you don't have a PlayStation 5 yet, so Manny's really going to be the only one to really dive into it and to give us his first impressions. But from what I saw, I can definitely say it looks very beautiful, very flashy, and very very interesting. I'm actually looking forward to getting my hands on it. But Chris, I just wanted to get your first impressions on the game. What did you think?
Yeah, first thing I could think of was flashing lights. Cause like, yeah, no, it's a really pretty game, man. That's the best way I can put it. Um, See, and this is probably an aspect of gaming I didn't grow out of, aesthetics making me want to play a game sometimes,
Oh,
right? Because there's sometimes where like the game might look like but like it looks visually like ooh, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that you're willing to give it a shot. Returnal, it would be one of them games where even if I heard what the story was like not really hitting like that, just based on how it looks, I would still want to play it. And if I was like in a situation where I was at the homie's crib or something, and I walked past his TV and he had that on playing it, I would stop and see what's going on because it's eye catching. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't really say much more than that because I haven't really played it, but I mean, it looks super cool, and eventually I'll have a PS5 and I'll give it a shot. But yeah, man, Goop, let us know what the hell's going down, man. Like, how's that working?
I mean, shoot, the moment I picked up the controller and got to the game, and just like, I know like this has been a talking point with Denzel, like saying he doesn't feel like the haptic feedback on the controller has been really big, but I can tell you that this game, just by even starting up the game, like you just feel like the controller, the vibrations and everything like that, like it feels so good. Like definitely,
I have a question though.
Definitely got to get you.
Sorry.
My bad.
Real quick. Real quick question though. So is it the rumble in the controller itself, or like are you actually feeling like something with the feedback of the triggers?
The triggers too.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely
Just
the triggers.
curious.
So like, and I'll explain it to you guys, of course. Like, so like for example, with the triggers, what I like about it that it uses a lot the most is that, you know, when you're shooting, of course, you feel a little you know, force feedback, whatever, on the triggers when you're pulling it. But what I like about it is with the haptic feedback, especially with the left trigger, there's this weapon upgrade that you pick up, and what the weapon upgrade does is like, you know, like shoots a different type of bullet, whatever. And how to use it is like the haptic feedback would stop you halfway. And that would be for regular, you know, the regular bullets. But then like if you pull down even further, then that's when you get that haptic, that special bullets that's used for that weapon. So that's what I like about it the most is like how it integrates that, where it's like when you want to like, you know, use one type of bullet, and it's like a second button, so to say, in the L2, you know what I mean? Like where you just hold it down or you just put it halfway, and that haptic feedback helps you do it because like we know like, you know, without the haptic feedback, it would be kind of hard to get that little balancing point halfway. So that's what I like about it too. And then like I said, with the vibrations of the control and everything like that, I mean, like, you know, most of the game, at least from, you know, when I played, is like you're like, you know, like in this open area, there's like just rain, you know, like a lot of rain going on, like you feel the rain basically and everything like that, which I like a lot because like it adds to that like horror feel, because like I know a lot of people compare it to like a horror type of shooter type of game, even though like me, I see more like a horde shooter, not a horror, but like, you know. But I do like the atmosphere too of the game. It's beautiful, like you guys mentioned, a lot of lights, but not only the lights, but like how dark the world is and like how the lights would light up and like, you know, basically light up the area when you're shooting, or you like when the enemies are shooting at you and everything like that. The way the lights just like, you know, basically light up the area specifically. The environment is beautiful. You know, like I'll be walking around and I see like the tall grass and I'm like, yo, the tall grass looks so good for no reason. Like, but it's a dope game. I mean, like if you have a PS5, I would obviously recommend checking it out because, you know, the PS5 exclusives isn't really that much big as the moment, but just being able to like get your first true like next gen shooter where like it takes advantage of these things like the controller and like the visuals and everything like that is definitely great. I mean, and I like what the direction they went with too, with the, you know, every time you play again, it's like a different scene. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing's the same. That's like one thing that I really like the most, and like how they also said that nothing carries. Well, not nothing, but like there's some stuff that do and don't carry over. Like when you die and go to like the next playthrough. So like I like what they did there too. It's a really dope idea, and like something to like, you know, once you keep playing, pretty much.
Yeah, it seems like this is kind of like the rise of that genre, that roguelike genre. Like Hades was kind of one of the first games, not first games. Hades is one of the more mainstream games that got really big recognition last year that had that style of play. And Returnal just seems to be kind of picking up from where Hades left off. So yeah, I mean it's looking really good. The main reason why I'm not like, personally, I would have went out and picked it up, but like it just doesn't look like a $70 game to me, and it's like,
I know what you mean.
like it looks like a $40 game to me, even though it's beautiful and I'm sure it's a lot of fun and all that stuff. Like I just have a hard time justifying like a $70 purchase on that. Do you, Manny, feel like it's a $70 game?
I'm not gonna say like my answer yet because like I haven't beat the game or anything like that. I mean,
so far,
like I feel like I know what you mean by the game doesn't feel like a $7 game, because it's like this. the story aspect, I mean, you're just like this one character, and she's like going through these flashes and everything like that. She's exploring this planet, realizing that this hasn't been the first time, but like, I mean, it does kind of feel like indie-ish, you know what I mean? Like indie game kind of vibes, where it's just like, it's like a dope indie game, but like I know what you mean by it's like not worth like a $70 day one type of
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah, but
that's
like a
what
dope
that's
indie game to me is like $40, right?
yeah,
Like
I know what you mean. Yeah, and this sucks because like we're so spoiled with the whole Game Pass situation, and like coughing up
Super
that $70
true.
hurt. I'm not gonna lie, but like at the end of the day, it's just like you live with it, you deal with it.
yeah.
It is what it is.
I'm I'm curious because obviously it's getting all the critical acclaim, right? Like people are really, really loving it so far. It's not getting tens across the board or anything, but pretty high scores, roughly like 80, whatnot. Um, I'm curious if, because we all know, we talked about this before, right? Like these Sony exclusives, while they are really high critical acclaim, they don't necessarily sell well. I'm curious what the sales numbers are going to look like for Returnal down the road, right? Especially being a $70 game. It's like, man, yeah, I'm really, really, really curious to see how Sony handles it and how House Marquee is the name of the studio, how they handle it as well. I know that they've made some pretty good games in the past with Sony, but they've never been $70 games. They've always been kind of lower budget games. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
See, I mean, with the translation numbers, like you said, there's only like I think 7.25 million consoles out there for PS5. So like, what I'm saying? And then if you put into the aspect that half of them might be game sharing, so that cuts that number in half essentially. But like, it's just yeah, man, like you said, it sucks because like, some people just won't give this game a chance because it's a new IP essentially, and they're like, do I really want to give this game a chance? Or I should just wait till it's on sale. And the next thing you know, it's like Sony's like, well, it wasn't fun while it lasted, but you gotta go.
You see, man, that's a great point. I appreciate that you made it, right? So like it's one of those, this genre is not particularly what's the word? It's not mainstream necessarily, right? It's not going to move a ton of units, right? Like this type of game. So yeah, you mentioned there was a report this week that Sony basically said like 7.8 million PlayStation 5s out in the wild now, right? To date. Which is an insane number when you think about it, the fact that you can't even really get one right now. So, shout out to Sony for that. Thinking about, like you said, so cut that in half. I would even cut that even more just based on the type of genre it is, the fact that it's a brand new IP, it's $70. Like I'm wondering if they are gonna break like 1 million copies, like first week, Like it's I'm really, really, really interested in this because again, if this doesn't break 1 million copies in the first week, or like down the road get to at least what 2 to 3 million copies, like how does Sony's relationship with House Marquee move on going forward, right? Like we know, notoriously, we talked about a couple weeks ago how Sony denied a Days Gone sequel because it didn't hit the numbers that Sony wanted it to hit. So I mean, and this looks like a really high budget double A game or indie game in a sense, right? Like I mean, Sony probably put a decent amount of money behind these guys. I'm really curious to know where that relationship's going to go going forward if it doesn't sell the numbers that we think it may not sell, because it is very interesting to see. And I've been seeing a lot of like mixed reactions to this on the internet, right? Like the people who love that type of genre and those types of games, who like the Risk of Rains of the world and whatnot, they're all in for it. But there's another pretty vocal, maybe minority, maybe not, who's saying like, oh, this isn't worth $70. Like this is a decent game at best. I'm really curious to see how this goes. I feel like it's going to be one of those things where House Marquee may have to release it on PC to kind of recoup some costs, because we know that Sony's been willing to allow some of their games on PC. I don't think this is a Sony owned property. I think they're just partnering. So I mean, it could also come to Xbox down the road as well. But yeah.
One thing. I'm sorry to cut you off, but one thing I did wish is like somehow implement a multiplayer factor into this. And I know it's like, it's gonna sound annoying because like, every game we play that is single player is like it should be a multiplayer, and then it's like it gets annoying. But like I feel like, like you said, it's has that kind of Risk of Rain vibes where it's just like every stage is different, and it's like You know, just like Risk Arena is just like some horde shooter where you just like you go through the stages, you gotta find the teleport, you activate it, fight this boss, and go to the next stage. Well, like how come they can't just do that to this game? And I'm sure if they did that with this game, definitely would have had a lot more sales, or probably would have a lot more sales because then it's like you got to play with your boys and everything like that, and then it'll look more appealing for the audience. So
Hey, I mean, who knows? Maybe that might be something that can come down the road. I always felt like the reason why they may not have put multiplayer in there is because it is such a high budget game. Like it really does look beautiful, and I wonder if it may cost them resources to be able to put another person into that world. I mean, again, maybe it might be something that they do down the road, but maybe that might follow with their PC release. Maybe that might be something that they tack on there with the PC release. So who knows? Who knows?
Agree.
Yeah, speaking of PC gaming though, Microsoft this week, as they have been doing almost every other week, they got some news. So they actually released a whole article. I want to say Matt Booty, actually, the head of Xbox Studios, he released an article kind of talking about how they're doubling down on PC gaming and how they really want to, build a better community around PC games. I'll actually read off a quote from the article in particular here. So Matt Booty says, "The future of PC gaming is brighter than ever. We know that we still have a lot of work to do, but based on the response from both PC gamers and PC game developers, we think we're headed in the right direction for this community with the investments we're making. We have never been in a better position as an organization to deliver PC games with Xbox Game Studio and Bethesda developing content for both PC and Xbox, the Windows and DirectX teams creating technologies that empower developers and provide PC players with features that specifically take advantage of PC hardware." They also go on to reference Game Pass and a number of different things. He said, "This is especially true as we head into the second half of 2021, with our work across the entire PC ecosystem has potential to come together in new ways that propel the industry forward and bring great games to gamers across the world." So within that, there's some more information that they kind of talked about in the beginning of the article, specifically around monetization for game developers, really. So it used to be that Microsoft took a 30% cut of every game that was sold in the Windows Store. And there's a pretty big conversation around that because Steam also does the same thing. And a couple years ago, when Epic released their game store, they went ahead and cut that from 30% to 12%, which is pretty insane, right? Like, basically a way for developers to make more money and monetize more on Epic Games platform as compared to Steam. So a lot of people, we saw a lot of people migrating over, developers in particular. We saw a lot of Epic Game Store exclusive games that weren't on Steam. So it looks like Microsoft is basically doing the same thing with the Windows Store. So again, going from 30% to roughly, what is it? 12, I think it was also 12 as well. They're matching exactly what the Epic Game Store is doing. So basically, developers are getting an 88% profit on their games. And I mean, the hopes, it seems like, for Microsoft is that they may be able to garner similar attention where developers might want to exclusively release games on the Windows Store. And subsequently, maybe even, because since the Xbox Store and the Windows stores are kind of tied together, this may impact Xbox gamers as well. Actually, today, as we're recording this Sunday morning, there were some documents that leaked out that showed that Microsoft may also be looking to do this same type of monetization change to the Xbox Store as well. So if developers releasing their games on Xbox may make 88% profit as opposed to the 70% profit they were making before, and let's say Sony continues to keep it at 70%, let's say Nintendo continues to keep it at 70%, now you're looking at it like, if you're a developer, hey, I can go release my game on Xbox exclusively, really, right? And make more profit, have more opportunity for gamers to play my content because they can play it through xCloud. They can, we can work out negotiations so that it's on Game Pass. It's just another one of those ways that Microsoft is really trying hard to get more content for gamers out there, like, and also help developers really be successful, right? Make money and be successful. So I thought this was a really, really interesting piece of news that came out. But I'm curious, what you guys think about it. So Manny, I'll let you start off.
Yeah, and then like like you mentioned, like how Steam and everything like that has their 30%. We know like Steam is like the biggest marketplace for gaming on PC, and Microsoft is trying their best to try to implement there's Game Pass and xCloud for the PC ecosystem. So I can see this definitely being a huge boost for like them trying to do more exclusive, like you mentioned, to the Windows platform, so that Microsoft benefits a lot. And I can see where it's like it does attract a lot of developers. I know, like, of course, so they're gonna have those big mainstream PC heads be like, oh, if this game is basically mainstream, I'm not mainstream, exclusive to the Windows Store, I'm not gonna buy it because it's not on Steam. Which,
Yeah.
like, I don't understand the whole like argument between like Steam, Epic Games Store, or anything like that. Because like if me personally, I'm just like, all right, I buy this game and I play it. Like, don't think I really see like Steam just has all those sales, but like what I'm saying, like if I can have this game be all like for example, just like a Game Pass Day One exclusive, I'm gonna download that on the Xbox. I'm not gonna go and shell out 60-70 bucks on the Steam store. So like if the fact that this can possibly, like you mentioned, attract developers to want to do more exclusive stuff, definitely huge W on Microsoft's part. And, like we know nowadays is like, trying to integrate all those ecosystems together, like I remember when the articles like they're all, mentioning that Halo Infinite is going to be crossplay, which was probably like a given, but like, it's good to like, have that in mind, where it's like at this point, like you try to bring the Microsoft or the Xbox and PC together, and next thing you know, it's like you create this big community. Whereas like I know, for example, Warzone, when Warzone first came out, not Warzone,
Mhm.
Modern Warfare, like before the latest Modern Warfare came out, all Call of Duties were on was a crossplay. And one thing about that is like before, the player counts were like less than like 100,000, if what I'm saying, like maybe less than 50,000.
Yeah.
So and now like you add that crossplay together, and now player count could be millions, and you got the PC community and everything like that together. And so like we
Right.
can definitely see how implementing that with the crossplay and then like the devs and everything like that could be beneficial for the Xbox ecosystem.
Right. Yeah. No, I definitely feel you on that. Yeah. Basically, if I'm hearing what you're saying, right, basically investing in the PC ecosystem will benefit Xbox players because Microsoft has pretty much kind of dug their heels in on the whole cross play, cross progression thing. So you're really just building an ecosystem and a community around both PC and Xbox, where Microsoft is kind of at the point where they look at it almost synonymously, right? And that only benefits gamers in the long term, right? Like we've all been talking about this plenty of times, but we've all been advocating for crossplay, right? Like even if it's between Xbox and PlayStation and Switch and so on and so forth, like Microsoft's investments in those areas, and their like this article basically shows they're doubling down on that stuff, right? They're talking really about PC gaming and beyond, well, for 2021 and beyond. But like ultimately, this signals to me that they're really focused heavily on crossplay in general and cross progression in general. Um, and the fact that like they announced that the 12% um, cut is going to be for PC games, but even now seeing this rumor about it also coming to Xbox again leads to that conversation around they definitely see these things as being the same, right? They want, it sounds like they essentially want to get to a point where they can probably just merge these two stores, and it's just Xbox and PC, the line gets blurred, and maybe it'll get to a point where there's just an Xbox store, or, who knows, or maybe there's just a Microsoft store, and that lives on Xbox and PC, or however they decide to go about it. But the one thing I will say is, and Chris, I want to get your input in a second too. But the one thing I will say is, um, the conversation around Steam versus the Epic Game Store versus even the Windows Store out of all of those stores, while it's been around for a while, it's missing significant features, right? Like if they can find a better way to integrate the Windows Store with the Xbox social platform, it would bring it a little bit closer to Steam, right? Steam is kind of like can be your one-stop shop for everything gaming, right? Like you have your friends list on there, you have achievements on there, you have all those things. Microsoft already has those things in existence on their own platforms, aka Xbox. So those features need to weave themselves into the Windows Store. And I think that even before they go ahead and do the 12% for developers and to get more support in the store and all that other stuff, the features need to be there. I think that's really what bogs Microsoft down from getting more traction in the Windows Store in particular on PC. But if they can, get more developer support and start to put more of those features in, I think it can go a long way for them. But yeah, Chris, I want to get your take on this. So
No, I mean, I think it's really cool. I think it shows a lot of forward thinking on Microsoft's behalf. Because I can't say that I'm surprised that this is happening. I'm more surprised with the timing of it when it's happening. If something like that's supposed to happen like next year or even the year after, I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I just did not see them moving as fast as they are on it. It tells me that I think stuff like Game Pass and stuff like that, to me, it's got to be booming to the point where they can see some crazy future sales projections, right? Because in my opinion, like I get it, they're trying to do this whole people first model, and they're doing a lot to make the devs feel like, why would you want to mess with anybody else when we got the best deal in town? I get that, but at the end of the day, they are still a business and they got to still make money somewhere. So I'm like, if they're willing to take that little bit off the top from what the developers give them in terms of their games, that means that whatever they're getting on the other end, it makes it so it doesn't matter, and that means it's big. That means this shit is rolling around big. And I think we talked about it a week or two ago about the number of folks who currently are subscribed on Game Pass now as opposed to last year, and I think it was like more than double. And that's just in 1 year's time. Yeah. So if they can get more of these exclusives and they can entice more people to come mess with them on a PC level, I mean, yeah, it's nothing but beneficial all the way around. Like, it's literally going to get to the point where they don't even got to assign any more studios. Well, they probably can sign more studios, yes, but they don't necessarily have to like that anymore because these partnerships are also they're strong as hell. And it's to a point where, like, they're undeniable. You know what I'm saying? So, like, even if they don't get Square, even if they don't get any of these other big-time development studios, it doesn't necessarily matter in some cases. Like, it does, but it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Because they're setting it up so where it doesn't matter either way. Like, granted, yes, it's nice that they have ZeniMax and they bought Bethesda and all that stuff. And they're going to have all that stuff in-house. But now they're setting their ecosystem up to a point where they have their own in-house stuff that's powerhouses. And then they can also make deals with folks who don't even necessarily live under their umbrella, but still get all the benefits, and then the person on the other side is still making way more money on their end than they might have been able to make messing with another platform.
Yep.
Like that is nothing short of just like smart business. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's all this is. It's literally just smart business. It's if somebody comes to you and you're a business owner and they're knocking on your door with this deal and you say no, it's like, I mean, I guess it's your prerogative to say no, but like, why? like you get me? Like, it logically does not make sense for you to say no to this unless you were just a Sony loyalist and you want nothing to do with Xbox, and you're just like, it's not about the money, it's about the principles. And if that's how you're looking at it, sure. I tell you this right now, no CEO looks at anything like this. Not one of them. Not one of them. So I don't know, man. It just, again, they got to be doing something really well on their end for them to take this cut. Nobody would do this.
Yeah.
Nobody would do this unless they had it right.
I'm really, really glad you said that because, yeah, it's absolutely true, right? Like, it's another one of those things that shows that Microsoft is confident and that, their strategy so far is working out, right? They're clearly not losing any money. I was trying to find the exact number here, but Microsoft this week they had their earnings call, and I want to say their gaming division made like $3.23 billion in this last quarter. That's just a quarter, right? That's 3 months. That's crazy.
Or basically half of what the Bethesda deal was.
Yeah. It's insane. Like,
Crazy to put it like that. Yeah, they made it back in 3. What?
yeah, like
Sorry,
the
that's
fact that
crazy.
they
That's
made up
crazy.
half of that deal within a couple or 3 months or so, that's no joke, man. I mean, they're doing very well. There's some unconfirmed reports that the Xbox series of consoles sold just as many systems as PlayStation did, which doesn't necessarily surprise me right now. It seems like they're probably just about at parity. I think, PlayStation is in a position where they've been able to make more consoles and therefore they've sold a little bit more, but I don't think Microsoft is that far behind. Definitely not as far behind as they were last generation, right? Like, all these moves have people very interested. Game Pass has people very interested, and Microsoft's really reaping the benefits of this stuff, right? Like, and obviously the pandemic, played a huge role in people playing more. So, they're just racking up the money, and Microsoft's they're making smart decisions with their money now, right? They're using it to, like we're seeing here, cut the top off on their profits with developers, so developers are more likely to come with them. They're using it to get crazy deals into Game Pass so that consumers want to play more on Game Pass and play with Xbox. Yeah, man, it's really amazing to see.
Yeah.
With all that being said, too, and this kind of dives into our next topic here. There's a couple of other rumors, kind of percolating around with Xbox. And again, Chris, I'm really glad that you mentioned the idea that these partnerships that they're creating are being solidified by all of this growth that Xbox is doing, all these things that they're doing for the goodwill of the developers and the goodwill of the people. So with that being said, there's a rumor that they will be partnering with IO Interactive, the developers of Hitman and soon to be the new James Bond game, and they're supposed to be, I think we talked about this maybe last week or the week prior. Microsoft has a couple deals lined up where they're going to be publishing, basically for third party developers, and I think this is one of them. So the rumor came out that they're working with IOI to release a third person, like, fantasy oriented action game. The details on this is super scarce. But I think it was first reported by Windows Central, and I think Jeff Grubb also was able to confirm that it will be a third person, action game. Apparently, it's super early in development, but it's just interesting to hear that, IO, who's really just known for making Hitman, and now they're going to be moving on to a James Bond game, which kind of again leads right into what Hitman was about,
Yeah.
making a third person, like, fantasy game. I think they called it Project Dragon, so that there's dragons involved. Super interesting stuff. But yeah, I mean, again, just showing that Microsoft is really getting developers on board with what they're doing, to the point that they want to partner with them to make completely brand new experiences that they've never done before. It's definitely an investment that Microsoft's making in this, and in comparison to what we talked about previously with Sony, is like Sony's a little less likely to invest in things like that aren't going to be surefire hits. Although, I mean, again, IO Interactive's track record is very strong, so there's a good chance that this is going to be a hit too. But it's just interesting. It's interesting stuff to talk about. But yeah, I mean, I want to go around the room and get your guys' opinion on this or approach to this here. So, Manny, I'm gonna let you start off. What do you think about this news?
Yeah, I mean, just with the IO, like you said, with Xbox taking out basically new IPs, which is news always good. I know we always complain about how, same old Mario and same old everything like that, like, yeah, we're getting tired of it. But like, like when, Microsoft's out here just making these deals, and it's like, all right, we want something new. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, with this whole Project Dragon fantasy game type of thing, where it's like, we don't. I remember when you were mentioning that, it's like, we were supposed to get something like that with Scalebound that.
Don't do it. Don't do it, bro. Don't talk
but,
about skill.
but
No.
like now we, like, we might get sound like that now, who knows, maybe Scalebound Part 2. Well, not Scalebound Part 2, but, like, you know what I'm saying.
But yeah, no, like a successor to what it was
So,
supposed to be.
like what's supposed to be, yeah. Like, I mean, it could be that, or it could be something that they come up with. But like you said, new is always good. Always excited. IO's definitely a good studio with, like you mentioned, Hitman, and the soon to be James Bond game come out. I'm definitely excited. So yeah, I can't wait to see what that comes up to.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Chris,
Mm.
what about you? What do you think, man?
It's just interesting, man, because I just can't get over like the infrastructure that they kind of built to make some of this happen. I think you mentioned a couple minutes ago, you said that Microsoft is going to actually serve the role as a publishing for this game to come out, right? Rather than like stuff like that is just crazy to me because I think about like EA and Activision and all these other publishing companies are like they're big deals, but like they don't also have this other side of their company where like they have their own gaming console and other things going on at the same time. It just feels like how do I put this? It's one of those things where it feels like in like 5-10 years, you're not gonna be able to look nowhere in the gaming sphere without seeing some kind of Xbox logo or something somewhere, just because it feels like that's what they're doing, man. And it's just wild, man. It's wild to see how they're moving this way. On terms of the actual game that they're creating, I think it's kind of cool that they're working with IO to make a game like this because I'm always here to see developers make games that are a little bit out of the norm from what they're known for. So this is going to be a whole nother take on what they normally do because Hitman and even James Bond, like those are kind of in the same wheelhouse. They're different games, but you know, you got a guy in a suit, he got guns, da da da. Like it's in the same wheelhouse,
Spy,
you know?
yeah.
Whereas this is a whole nother ball game for them. So I'm always here to see what's happening. This is like what game number 9 in the upcoming RPG battlegrounds for the newest best RPG game, man. I'm telling you, it's about to happen. Skyrim's been sitting down for too long, Phil, because this shit is about to go down. Too many RPGs getting made right now, y'all. Y'all better get hip.
Yeah,
but
you're right, bro. You're right.
It's insane, man. Insane. Yeah, no, I'm super excited, super excited, because especially lately, it seems like even though I've never played the last Hitman, the things I've seen, they're taking so much attention to detail with certain shit. So like, I'm very excited to see what they can do in terms of an RPG game. Dragons, yes, I'm always here for that. Yeah, yep, I'm totally here for it. Whatever they're coming up with, let's see it. Take their time, come up with something good. And yeah, I can't wait to see this, man. I'm telling y'all, this RPG battleground is about to be insane.
Yeah, I love that you brought up the RPG stuff because keeping with the rest of the rumors that are going on, I'm gonna just kind of spit the rest of them out here and then we'll kind of dissect as well. But we got 3 particular other rumors that kind of trickled out this week. So the first one is Elden Ring, falling right into your wheelhouse of the RPGs here. So we're supposedly going to be getting finally getting an Elden Ring reveal at E3. Supposedly at the Microsoft press conference, we're not entirely sure on that, but it's been a long time coming. I mean, I remember that game hasn't really officially been announced. There hasn't even been so much as a teaser trailer out. And I remember it was like voted the one of the most anticipated games at the Game Awards last year. Like people are really waiting for that game. It's from what I recall, it's the game that they're supposed to be working on. Namco Bandai is supposed to be working on with George R.R. Martin.
Yes.
So
that's all I needed to see.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like story-wise, people are going to be out here for that, right? Fantasy RPG, basically trying to come for Skyrim's neck. Yeah, I mean, people are really going to be looking for that. But another rumor we got this week, again talking about RPGs and really the successor to Skyrim, I guess you could say for now, is Starfield, right? Starfield. Apparently, we're also going to be getting another a true blowout on that at E3 as well. We got some trademark information this week that showed the trademark for Starfield is 2021, and usually when most people do like a trademark or a copyright with that year, that means that that's the year it's supposed to release. So people are really paying a lot of attention to that. That doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it's definitely something to talk about. That's going to be one of the biggest games of the year, so we have to talk about it here for sure. Obviously, we're going to see it at the Microsoft press conference in some way or another. But the rest of the rumor also talked about the fact that it will be exclusive, which to me, again, is a no-brainer. I don't even know if that needs to be news. You don't spend $7.5 billion to let someone else go play your game. So yeah, I'm definitely seeing that it's going to be coming to Xbox soon. And then the final thing is not an RPG, but kind of adjacent in a way. So Forza Horizon. Supposedly, we're also going to be getting that this year. We're supposed to be getting a reveal at E3, and kind of breaks my heart because the rumor said earlier that it was supposed to be coming. The game was supposed to be set in Tokyo. So, for all of you Fast and Furious fans, it looks like that's not true. It looks like it's actually going to be in Mexico. So, kind of cool, but I would much rather have been getting my Tokyo Drift on.
Yeah, aesthetically, Mexico is cool because of dirt roads and all that, but like it wouldn't have been like Tokyo. Nah. Like imagine like a Tokyo skyline when it's raining at nighttime. Stop playing.
Bro. Stop imagine playing Tokyo nighttime with those lights, with the ray tracing, and then when you combobulate and tribulate.
God, got some rain and puddles in there.
Oh yeah,
the potential to showcase. Maybe that'll be for the next Forza Horizon. Maybe they're just trying to play with the whole ray tracing, everything like that. More maybe that's why. Because like I said,
I definitely think Horizon 5 is definitely going to have some ray tracing stuff, and they're we saw with the last one, they played a lot with the seasons, right? Like we saw the snow in the winter and rain in the spring and summer and so on and so forth. I definitely think they're going to be playing with a lot of that stuff in this one because ray tracing is definitely a thing you want to showcase with the system. But god damn, man, imagine the neon lights in Tokyo with the
that would be so beautiful.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
I'm just hoping it's because Forza is the game that tried to do the whole MMO car thing before, right? Or was
they do it?
Okay, so I'm hoping they go balls to the walls with it in this one because I need a game to do this right. Because if they can get it right, I'm here, bro.
Have you played Forza Horizon? I feel like they do it pretty well.
The one that was in Game Pass?
I think they were all in. Well, the most recent one is 4. So I'd recommend just checking it out. It's beautiful.
I played, yeah, it definitely was beautiful. The one that was in Game Pass I did play recently, but I didn't really play enough to like really get immersed in some of the RPG aspects of it. So I probably do need to touch that again.
I don't think they do much with the RPG stuff, but it is an MMO at least. Like it is a big world. It's you can pretty much interact with anybody in that world at any given time. Like you can race random people or whatnot. So it's there. The aspect is there.
I gotta touch that again. I definitely gotta touch that again.
I think if anything, with the SSD and all that jazz, in the newer systems, I think they can probably make the world even bigger. And obviously with them being in Mexico, it probably gives them some versatility as far as the different terrain that you could be working with. So dirt roads, there's cities in Mexico, obviously, so you can get some of that diversity. I don't know if they necessarily would have been able to get that in Tokyo. I'm sure they could have figured something out. But I'm a little disappointed. I wanted to get my Tokyo trip.
So let me ask, in the last game that you're talking about, do they have stuff in there like you can drive to like a car mod shop or drive to a paint shop? There's stuff like that in the game?
So the game,
I didn't see nothing like that when I played.
So Horizon works out like a festival. So any of that type of stuff actually takes place in the festival hub. Like you drive to like the area to go, spruce up your car and this, that, or the other. You drive to this area to go do a race. You drive to this area to go. There's something called bar finds. So you can find different cars, like older cars in the world. You can kind of go explore. But it's not necessarily like a Grand Theft Auto where you like go drive to this car shop and do this and then drive to this place and do that. Like a lot of the stuff pertaining to the car. Well, a lot of the stuff it's really in the way that the story works out, right? Like because you have this festival going on, everything pertaining to your car in the garage happens at the festival. So you could just drive to the festival and go get your mods and do this and do that. So it's not like it is the way you want it to be. It's just that because of the way the story is set up, it just happens in one location because it makes the most sense. But yeah, I definitely recommend you try it out. Like I think Forza, between Horizon and the Motorsports franchise, is barred like hands down the best racing games out there. I know Gran Turismo is trying to make a little comeback, whatever. I would be surprised if they even touch what Forza's done so far. Turn 10 and Playground Games, like those two studios, Playground works on Horizon and Turn 10 works on Motorsport. They are like, I think, some of the best developers in the industry right now. They're doing some amazing stuff. So yeah, really, really looking forward to Horizon 5. Obviously looking forward to Elden Ring. everybody's going to be looking forward to Starfield. So
Yeah.
to grab your sombreros.
E3 looking
Go to
kind of
Mexico.
juicy, looking kind of thick with two C's. You know what I'm saying?
Man, yeah, E3 is going to be something special. I can't wait.
Man. May's gonna be a
That's
good
next
month.
month, guys.
May
Yeah, I know,
is gonna
couple
be
weeks,
a good
yo.
month because all them leaks and everything like that, man.
Yeah, and I think we're, obviously like we talked about before, we're in that silly season where we're seeing a lot of rumors and whatnot, but we're also in that season right now, like hitting May, where we're going to start getting some teases for different things.
Mhm.
I wouldn't be surprised. So the one thing I'm really looking forward to the most, since we're still in this rumor conversation, one thing I'm looking forward to the most is Battlefield. We've talked about this a number of times. I really feel like within the next week or two, I think we're going to get a Battlefield tease. I really think so.
It's funny you mentioned that because, like, I was watching something yesterday. I was watching two separate videos yesterday. Both videos mentioned Battlefield. And a lot of people are talking about Battlefield, especially because they're tired of COD. So, like, you hear a lot of people say, you know what? I don't even want to play Cold War no more, whatever. But this Battlefield, though, I'm really looking forward to this. Like, I think people are just ready for an alternative to what Call of Duty is. And they love BO5 from what I'm hearing from a lot of people. But the thing that a lot of people also are scared of is that hopefully that BF doesn't add like a battle royale mode to their game, because they're like, if they do that, it's going to change a lot of shit, because a lot of people like battle royales.
That though, because Battlefield 5 has a BR mode, and it's fine. I don't know. It's not as
not
big.
talked about because it's not free like Warzone.
Yeah, it's not as big as Warzone because it's not free, but like they have something. I mean, it's there, it's fine. I think the thing that pisses people off about Warzone, and this is actually we're gonna get off on another tangent here, so I'm sorry guys, but the thing that pisses people off about Warzone more than anything is that it's like the sole focus of Activision right now, right? Like they're not focusing on anything else. There's a story just this week that I think the developer's name is Toys for Bob. I think they're the guys who are making Crash Bandicoot. They like completely repurposed that studio to focus on Warzone stuff. The studio that's made Crash Bandicoot right now, that's been making Crash Bandicoot games that have been blowing up right now, people have been absolutely loving, and you take it and you repurpose it for Warzone. That's crazy. That's really gonna piss people off. That's not okay.
Yeah, especially
so I think
Crash Bandicoot 4 being a good game too. It's like, what I'm saying? Like you're just gonna cut it off. Like,
wow.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing that's really got people nervous and worried about a BR. But I mean, I think EA's got enough resources, and I don't think that they're going to do that. They're not going to take their smaller studios and like do something like that. I think DICE, who's the people who make Battlefield, I think they have more than enough studios to be able to support a BR game long term, and then still do the things that they plan on doing. Normally, I'm not worried about that at all. I think Battlefield is going to come correct. I think it's been a while since we've had like a really good battle royale, or sorry, not battle royale, Battlefield game in the modern era, and I think people are just really, really ready for that.
When did 5 come out? When was it?
5 came out like 2019, I believe.
Well, that's not that long ago. About 2-3 years.
No, not 2019. It couldn't be. But either way, 5 isn't modern day. The last time we've had a modern day game.
Oh, you meant modern day in terms of like the time. Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
Man, I was playing Battlefield 4 on my PC because the whole Game Pass and EA Play thing on the PC, and I was like, "Yo, man, like the game looks so good on PC. I just can't imagine how it's gonna look with Battlefield like 6 graphics." You know what I mean? Because Battlefield 4 came out like almost 10 years ago, 2013, I believe. So like, I'm just so excited to see what they have to offer, and I hope it's crossplay so I can play on my PC, of course. And I hope it's, oh man, I'm just so excited.
Yeah,
people are very eager.
Cross-playing Game Pass. That's my only wants for it. But what was I gonna say too?
All right.
But yeah, I'm excited though for E3 this year. One thing I'm excited to is I heard rumors about Rockstar having a hiring for game testers. So I'm like, Take-Two Interactive is gonna be an E3 this year, and that's the parent company of Rockstar. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
It could be either a new Grand Theft Auto or game testing.
At this point,
Grand Theft Auto Online for new stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, remaster while y'all work on Grand Theft Auto, please.
I can't.
Need a bully remaster. I'll play that for a little bit, and then Grand Theft Auto could take its time, because I would take that bully remaster with open arms. Hey, nope, don't play with me. Not with that. I
It's
love
almost been
Bully.
10 years. I need Grand Theft Auto. I'm sorry, Chris. Bully could wait.
Damn.
So yeah, let's wrap it up here. So we got the final topic for the week, and that's the PlayStation State of Play that happened this past Thursday. Or is it Thursday? Either way, it was this past week, and there really wasn't too much to talk about as far as I guess you could say quantity of games, but the quality of games that they showed, it's really just Ratchet and Clank, guys. I mean, it was fucking amazing. They show. I mean, we got a little announcement about
Among Us was the hit of the show, yo. What do you mean?
Please get out of here. Get out of here. We got an announcement on a new Subnautica. Yeah, we got a new Subnautica. We got Among Us finally coming to PS4 and PS5. The Ratchet and Clank little hat thing though is kind of dope. Not gonna lie, I'm kind of excited to see that people running around with that. But the star of the show really is just Ratchet and Clank, man. Rift Apart, man. It looked so freaking beautiful. I'm so excited to play that game. You mentioned platformers as being like a thing that you kind of like felt falling off of a bit as grown older, Chris.
Not Ratchet Clank.
Ratchet Clank. Yeah, Ratchet's different.
Yeah, not Ratchet Clank. That hit different.
Yeah, Ratchet hit different, bro. It really does. I mean, I don't know what else to really say about it. I'm gonna let you guys talk about your favorite things from the showcase. Chris, start it off for me, bro.
Well, like I said, not Ratchet Clank. Ratchet Clank to me is just, it's my favorite platform ever. Like easily. I don't have like Jak and Daxter and a lot of those other games come close, but they're not Ratchet Clank, man. Captain Quark, all these great characters, the great guns, the gameplay is almost good. The only one game I did not like from the whole series was Deadlocked. And that was because they did this weird thing where they kind of separated Ratchet from Clank, and it was way more of a linear storyline. It wasn't what I liked. It wasn't the charm of the game. But
it's funny that you mentioned that though, because that's what's happening in this one is Ratchet and Clank are separated. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Even then, like I remember they gave Ratchet. They gave him this weird suit, and it was more like he would just go into arenas and fight a bunch of dudes, and then dip, and then the arenas will just get kind of harder on different planets. But there wasn't the Ratchet and Clank charm and humor and all that stuff really attached to that game. So yeah, I'm just excited, man. Like I probably won't have a PS5 in time to play it, obviously, but as soon as I do get one, I'm putting my hands on it. Game looks beautiful. A lot of attention to detail in terms of just graphics, from what I'm seeing. Like, see, now I want to say this is probably one of the first true games coming out that truly looks to me like, all right, this is next gen. Like, this is next gen right here for real, for real. There is no questioning shit. You look at how this game is running and how it looks and what they're doing in the background, even to the way how the world is so friggin' alive, right? Like, it's so alive. This is a next gen game right here. This right here is, I think, what people are going to really be able to see. Oh, this is what these consoles can really do. Yeah.
I'm seeing some overlap. Sorry, real quick. I'm seeing like a little bit of overlap with what I saw from Astro's Playroom and this game, and it has me really fucking excited, bro.
Yeah. I think they're going to take a lot of advantage of the feedback stuff in the controller for sure. Even from when like you toss your wrench, even to like how you use the hang glider, all that kind of stuff is probably going to have some kind of like weird response in the controller for sure. Man. I love me some Ratchet Clank, man. I'm sorry.
Definitely can't wait, man.
I'm excited.
The game looking extra spicy, you know what I'm saying? I mean, bro, even the little details with the fur, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? We obviously seen that with, Insomnia's Spider-Man Miles Morales with like the detail in the hair there, but like I'm talking about like, the whole character's covered in fur and you see the whole detail. Yeah. Everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, but even Miles Morales was a little off, but like this feels like
and I can understand because like Miles Morales was like one of those things where probably it could have probably got hit with like blocking COVID or anything like that, but Ratchet and Clank, they had more time to play with, which are like but like the ray tracing was so like spot on when they're in that city level, everything's all dark with the lights, everything in the background. I'm talking about like You know what I'm saying? Like that game looks so good. I was like, bro, like, this looks like you could just put this in the movies and you just sit there and watch it like it's a cartoon movie, but like
Yeah.
it's a game, bro. Like, and
Yeah.
one thing I always love too about Insomnia is like with the way to do the cutscenes and everything like that. It's just like it's so gorgeous. Like I just love the work. Insomnia does a really good job with the games, and you know what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
this is definitely like spot on when I saw it in the state of play, and I just.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just can't wait to pick up a copy, of course, man. But like one thing that was so impressive too is like that, some people probably won't like they really think about because like it just happened so seamlessly. It's like when I forgot her name, but like when she was riding the
Rivet.
yeah, and then they're just riding around, just like going through the rifts and everything like that. It's like it's going through different levels, but like there's no load time or anything like that. It's just seamless.
Yeah.
That's one thing that like you know what I'm saying, like that I love is just like how fluid the game is. Like it doesn't like stop you from like playing while you gotta load up real quick. All right, go next stage, load up 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that it's just happening seamlessly and everything like that is just like amazing and like really does showcases the next gen hardware and everything like that. That that we're gonna expect from here on out.
Yeah, man, that's the best thing about these consoles to me is the SSDs, man. The fact that things are just happening in real time. I don't have to worry about loading into this next level, that next level, whatever. Like you can tell a seamless story, man. I freaking love that, dude. Love it. And there's something that you mentioned, Chris, about the controller and like really being able to take advantage of the DualSense. Manny, you mentioned it as well in the Returnal, your little discussion about Returnal is like how the DualSense controller allowed you to have different functionality with the guns based on how far back you pulled the triggers and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, Insomniac's going to be doing the same thing with Ratchet and Clank, and I'm really looking forward to it. They showed off a couple different examples. One was like a shotgun where if you pressed it halfway, it only shot part of the bullet. Basically, yeah, if you use part of the trigger, like you don't pull it down all the way, then it only shoots one part of the double barrel, only one barrel. If you use them both, it's the full double barrel shot, more powerful. Like that stuff's really cool. They showed off another one with a grenade launcher, and I don't remember exactly what the functionality was, but if you held it down halfway, it did one thing. If you held it down all the way, it did another. Like Ratchet has always been really inventive with those types of things and weaponry and whatnot. So being able to take advantage of the controller and have it give you these different uses for the guns and the weapons and the gadgets and all that stuff, it's just really cool. And I'm just looking forward to really diving into that world because, as Chris mentioned, it just looks really immersive, really cool. I'm loving the way the story incorporates the different worlds or rifts that you can jump through and how it all looks so seamless, man. I am I cannot wait.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's one of those games where like when it comes out, I'm excited, just not even just because it's a new game. I'm genuinely excited to see the characters. You know what I'm saying? Like that's part of Ratchet and Clank for me. I love Clank. I love Ratchet. They got a new character. I love Captain Quark. I always bring him up. Dr. Nefarious was awesome when they brought him into the game. There's a lot of really cool characters in Ratchet and Clank's universe, and almost all of them are funny in some kind of way. Not a lot of games get me excited to see characters pop up on the screen and be like, hey! but Ratchet and Clank does that for me absolutely all day. I love a lot of these characters in this game.
Yeah. One thing I'll say that I want out of this, or maybe the next one or whatever, and I know I'm going to get some eye rolls because we talked about this earlier, but like multiplayer in Ratchet and Clank, and I feel like they could set it up with this new character, Rivet, where it's like, all right, Rivet's like you could choose whether or not you're going to play as Rivet or Ratchet or, oh man, I would love to play that because again, like I was talking about before, I've been playing It Takes Two, and like that platformer is so much fun playing it with my wife, and like it's obviously designed with multiplayer in mind, and obviously I don't know if they would do that with a Ratchet and Clank game, but I think having a co-op component to it could be really cool. One person plays as Clank, one person plays as Rivet, and Ratchet or Rivet, and then have they ever done that where one person plays as Ratchet and one person plays as Clank? I know Clank's not like necessarily doing too much, but I feel like that'd be a cool thing too, right?
They've done it in the games where you have a couple levels here and there where they'll split up, but it's not like one person can play each. It's more like you play a bit of Ratchet's part, and then you can play a bit of whatever Clank's doing wherever he's at, and then eventually they meet back up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never seen them just have a co-op aspect of where you can. Nah, I've never seen them do that.
I kind of want them to. And I know that it'll take a lot of work for them to do that as if it's its own game. But maybe like I don't know if you guys remember the Uncharted spinoff that they made where it was pretty much all co-op. I'd be interested in seeing them do something like that. Just like a little offshoot spinoff game where there's like some co-op going on with Rivet and Ratchet or Ratchet and Clank or however you decide to break it up. I think it'd be really cool. So,
I definitely agree. I mean, because like like we mentioned in the beginning, like multiplayer is just a big aspect in the gaming industry nowadays, and like not everybody's gonna want to play a single player game, but when you add that co-op factor and you bring somebody else in, next thing you know, you get
playing with your friends makes everything better.
I wouldn't like multiplayer in the sense of like 1v1 type of shit or anything like that, because not a game for that. No. But I would love it if they had game modes like a domination and stuff like that, like capture the flag and all that kind of stuff. In that would be super cool. Because I'm thinking about all the different weapon combinations and stuff that people can actually put together. It'd just be a lot of action and bullshit going on the screen at one time.
Yeah.
And because like, have you guys seen? Sorry, another tangent. But the new game mode that they put in Spellbreak.
I haven't played Spellbreak in a minute.
So yeah, because they have a control domination style new game mode over there too, and it's working out pretty well for them from what I'm seeing. Yeah. So I'm like, stuff like that I think would work awesome in like a Ratchet and Clank environment, man. That'd be mad cool, bro.
So for those of you who don't know about Spellbreak is basically like it's a battle royale, but they use magic as opposed to guns or anything along those lines. And they're kind of based on what Chris is talking about, they're kind of going the reverse, right? Like if you think about how Call of Duty has always been an arena shooter and they've released a battle royale mode. Spellbreak's kind of going in the inverse. So they are a battle royale game first, and now they've just released their first like arena mode, which is the domination mode. And yeah, to Chris's point, it's doing very well for them. And yeah, I think that'd be something that'd be kind of cool to see in Ratchet and Clank, like a little like 4v4, like
domination just a little team based
something silly, Yeah, it doesn't have to be too big. Something simple. That'd be cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right, well, yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up here. I mean, we definitely got some pretty good conversations for this week. I'm really looking forward to Ratchet and Clank and all the other games that we talked about. The future of gaming is freaking amazing, guys. Whether you're playing on Xbox, you're playing on PlayStation, you're playing on PC, like there's just so much shit coming, man. It's gonna be so cool.
He didn't mention the Switch on purpose.
Yeah, I didn't because we don't really know yet. But we can only assume, Switch Pro, right? Hopefully we're going to be seeing that soon. But I'm really excited more than anything for E3, and that's only a month away.
Yes, sir.
We gotta try to see if we can get a live.
It's gonna be a juicy month, yo. Juicy month of May.
For anything that happens over the weekend in the time frame of E3, we're definitely going to be doing some live reaction stuff, like for sure. So be ready for that, ladies and gentlemen. But before we head out, boys, you know what to do. Where can the people find you? Manny, start it off.
You already know. Instagram, Twitter, GooMasterFlex_TTV, Twitch.tv/GooMasterFlex for when I stream. Don't forget to stop by, hit the follow, notifications on, of course, because you know what I'm saying, when I be streaming, we get lit.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, that's where you can find me. Yeah,
for sure. Chris, what about you, bro?
As always, y'all can find me on everything at MAY25THXX, and that is again on everything. Also, just to throw it out there, I am thinking about creating a new Instagram page for this shit. Strictly just due to the fact that as I kind of like go forward, I'm realizing I like my Instagram to kind of just stay personal for a couple different reasons. I don't really want to mix that up with some of this gaming shit, but I do need to start getting some clips and stuff up. So, because like that sniper clip, I could have put up all my stuff, but I don't really want it on my personal. So, yeah, I don't know what the handle is going to be for it yet. It's clearly not going to be the XX because that's already on my personal. But I'll let y'all know that whenever it's all set and good to go. But wouldn't be me if I didn't tell y'all. Gmail me. Pen pal.
Still looking for a pen pal. Pen pal.
I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna get a random email talking about, can you send $2,500 to this bank account in Johannesburg, and we will send you back.
So you telling me you haven't already gotten that?
No, I haven't.
It's funny.
Well, it's in my spam folder, yeah, but not because of the pod. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, word.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for me, it's, you guys already know it's Black Ice 8 on everything: Xbox, PlayStation, Twitter, Twitch as well. Make sure to check out my Twitch channel, Twitch TV, twitch.tv/Black Ice 8. On Instagram, it's a little different. It's at Black Ice 8 _gaming. So definitely make sure to check us out. Also, to make sure to subscribe to the podcast, guys. If you guys are liking what you're hearing and what you're seeing, checking out the YouTube in particular, I'm noticing at least about half of you guys who are watching aren't subscribed. So, make sure to subscribe. And if you're not subscribing, you don't want to subscribe, let us know why. Shoot us a comment. Let us know what you guys are liking or not liking for sure. But we appreciate you guys checking us out. We'll check you guys out next week for sure. Peace.